good morning everybody, and welcome to this new web seminar about Panorama E² features. So today we speak about Panorama E² alarms. I am Julian from the marketing team, and usually I work on Panorama demo, building presentation for salesmen, and events like Panorama Days you may know. And I also build seminars. So today François helps me. He is one of the technical leaders since our first SCADA software 25 years ago. So I deal with the PowerPoint presentations, and François will use the mouse for the technical demo. So today's presentation is split in two main parts. The first one to present Panorama E² and its alarm principles. This part will end with a demo application, a presentation of the application, and a basic use of alarm features, and of course how it is built in Panorama E². Then the other part is with an advanced use in Panorama E². We show you two ways to add a pop-up view according to an alarm. Then we'll build live one of these behaviors. At the end, a summary will be presented, and I'll finish the presentation with a reminder about importance of alarm management. And finally, we will deal with your questions. So for this presentation, we only deal with technical features of a modern SCADA like Panorama software. So having a basic knowledge about SCADA and Panorama E² is better, but in the next slide we give you a short explanation about Panorama E² and its alarm management system. We show you that building custom thing on Panorama E² is very easy too. So we start with some useful information for people who don't know E² and how does it work. So Panorama E² can be viewed as a package of many objects you made to put together. Thus, you build a behavior while you're setting and linking properties together between many objects. For this alarm, we present alarm object behavior. So I give you detail about this object. In the alarm configuration, you dispose in several text fields like label for naming the alarm, the present label to give precise information instead of present or cleared message. You can use the words empty, overheat or broken link, unavailable. There are several categories which you can put as a text on alarm and event object. You use it to add comma separated values and fields specific to each alarm. Value and fields can be used for alarm subscription, filters information, and display. If you use fields, they can also be displayed in the alarm window, as we will see in this presentation and demo. This is a very useful tool, and don't worry, it is easy to fill because of the automatic filling rules. We will give you details further in this webinar about these features. Then you have many options available for handling this alarm. Mandatory action, for example, before you acknowledge an alarm, you must add a comment. You can set the operator must firstly check the alarm, then acknowledge it. Because of some business, you must warn the system that you will need to engage intervention on the machine, on the ground, and then you act the alarm. Or someone from the maintenance is only the allowed person to act the alarm instead of the main operator. Everything can be stored in a database for further analysis. You may add optional behaviors, an alarm which is too long to disappear and the operator has already acted. You can set a reactivation delay on the alarm to cancel the operator action and to place the alarm back to the top of the alarm list. So many status are available. You can combine some of them, like present and checked. As you will see in the demo, transitions are very useful when using histories, because when you read history, you don't want to know if the alarm is really present or cleared. You don't want to know the status. You want to see the transition. The alarm is now present, but why? It's recorded in the database as a reactivation, as an apparition, or an activated alarm. Of course, all information from alarm are timestamped, even operator actions. This is a quick sample about how to build an alarm configuration. So you have a measure point according to an acquisition object, which gives you information of a measured data. So in this sample, it's an acquisition data, but it can be anything else. The link is the acquisition value path, which is set in the trigger of the alarm. like a standard Windows pass. You can also set inputs as statistical values, like greater than 50, and then the output is the present value is true. This is the easiest way to set an alarm in E². You may also plug a variable value in the threshold of the alarm object to follow an approaching set point range, or this can be a measured value, an historical value, a computing trend, etc. Please note that all properties of the alarm can be changed in runtime. You can reconfigure an alarm live. We already had customers whose installation is composed by plug and unplug parts, so everything is not always wired, and wiring can change according to time. So through runtime HMI, allowed operators can change and set value for each alarm, even labels and priorities. So we usually set and link properties together to build a behavior in our components. So once this setup is made, you declare this build as a model. And then you use and reuse the model anywhere in your application. All Panorama objects are based and designed on these principles. Usually, your built models have main properties which are used to configure the inside part of each copy. Finally, when you build components, you set the default main value. This is how you build your components. You may of course overwrite on each instances, like the screenshot part on the bottom of the slide. The bold text means that's not a default value. On this table, you can use a copy and pass with increment to facilitate configuration. So it's easy to set up plenty of instances of the same component. But there is another tool which facilitates configuration. I spoke about categories and automatic filling rules. For this example, you build a component model, which is a tank, which is used in a tree branch of your SCADA applications as a tank 1 and tank 2. And you may populate value according to property of the components itself, like the priority is set to 40. And by default, you may set according to the position of the instance on the tree view. You can see that the label is the tank 1 according to the name or to the label of the tank, and London is set to the folder of this component. You can, of course, make some basic calculation to add build properties like the PLC address in our sample. So let's try to have a demo. So I have to share my screen.
Okay, so this is our application screen. It's mainly designed to show you the alarm. So we have put in the center the alarm list, and it is surrounded by several components, tanks and valves, that we'll use in simulation to trigger alarms as we need. So the bottom of the screen allows us to simulate the alarms, and we have what the operator would see on his screen on the top. So right now we have 4 alarms present and 2 cleared. This alarm list is right now almost not configured. It's the default behavior. We've only changed the fonts, and the rest of the field is the default setting. So it allows me to process the alarm with a standard right-click menu. I can acknowledge an alarm, or I can reach information which is associated to the alarm. This alarm has a media file associated to it, so I can open it and view it. This can be information useful to the operator to process the alarm. I can also associate a view. If I go on a tank alarm, I can link a view to my tank. We've linked a view corresponding to the level trend. Okay, so this is the standard alarm window behavior. And if we look in the application, we'll have a look to the trend, to the level alarm. We've built a tank component. You can recognize the property that Julien has showed you in the PowerPoint. And we have here our level alarm, which was linked to the level measure. And here, the threshold, which triggered the alarm, is a variable value because we want to be able to change the threshold at runtime. the auto configuration is used. So the level only shows the tank label. The label is this tank property here. And once it's set at runtime, for instance, here we have label tank1, then it is replaced automatically in my label, and the label is the final label, level tank1. So with this auto configuration that Julien described, the inside of the component is completely automatically configured once the component properties are set. Okay, so this is the basic alarm behavior.
Yes.
And Julien will now present us what we can do as a customization.
So thanks to François. So now we present you an advanced use of our alarm system and alarm window in Panorama E². So just a little slide between two demos. So in this basic use, we used a standard menu, and now we are using a custom menu. So we replaced the standard menu by a custom one. And we also changed the display style. And we added several behavior in the contextual menu on the right click. We put two different behavior. We can imagine anything else because you can link action to scripts. So the two different behavior we choose to show you today is a call to another view with the selected alarm information as a parameter. So you pop up an independent view, and you can set automatic contextual filter, or you can adapt the menu entries to the selected alarm. Using this, you can place views on displays, and why not on another screen. You can place pre-configured filter on the same alarm window, like hiding or only showing cascading alarms, or open another child view. This is the second behavior we wanted to show you today, on of the same instance of the components. So let's see how it is built in the application.
Okay, so we are back in our application. We switch to the advanced alarm view implementation. So as Julien said, basically we have 2 points where we have done some customization. The first thing is window style, alarm style. As you can see, we have now a dual line display. So every alarm is displayed with 2 lines, so it allows you to present more information to the operator. We also have added user fields. It is application-specific columns which are set according to the alarm category and which allow you to customize the field presented to the information required by the operator. We also use 2 different presentation styles according to the alarm type. On valve alarm, we do not display trigger and threshold because it's a Boolean information triggering the alarm, where on level alarm, we display the trigger value, which is the current level, and the threshold that triggered the alarm. Okay, so we use for that what we call a style selector, which according to the alarm configuration, its category in fact, will decide which style to use. Okay, and we also customize the color to make it a bit less flashy. For instance, the green is a bit darker. Okay, so this is just graphical configuration. Now we've also configured the menu. We've kept the acknowledge command because that's the standard acknowledge mechanism we've chosen to use in this application. We've hidden the disable enable command because we don't want the operator to use this in this application. And we've extended the menu with new commands. So to extend the menu, we've created extra menu commands and we've created scripts to execute the commands. So these histo commands allow me to open a pop-up view, which is automatically filtered on the selected alarm and only showing the history of this alarm. And I can eventually customize the filter if I want to. Right now it's displaying 120 status change of the same alarm. Of course, this is simulation and the alarm is appearing and clearing very often. The second command we've added is called trend. It opens automatically a small pop-up from the tank component, which is showing me the real-time trend of my level. I can eventually zoom in that trend if the operator needs to keep an eye on it. Okay, so this one is built in the component because it's displaying information from the component. And the histo is an application view that is filtered according to the selected alarm. At the bottom of the screen, we have filter functions, so we can use a text filter. If I enter, for instance, a filter for saying any alarms having the word valve into their configuration, it allows me to restrict the list of displayed alarm. And as you can see here on the bottom of my screen, I've got counters or information on what the alarm is displaying, the window is displaying. Because I've filtered, I have in the window different counters as globally for the application, because the window provides me counter or statistic information on what it displays, and I can also have global application information, the same information in fact. Okay, so now what we want to show you is how this customization of menu takes place. So what we want to do is add a new entry in this menu. As you can see, the alarms are configured to have associated documents, sometimes HTML page, sometimes PDF or image. What we want to do is open a pop-up that will allow us to display this in the middle of the screen with enough space. So we'll create this together. So let's go back to the application. And we go in our advanced alarm view. And this is our current setting of the view. As we said, we have the alarm window, which is designed to use a custom menu called alarm window menu, which is this object right here. It currently has two commands, so we will just add a new command. Documents, we call it. This command needs a script to execute the command, and also we need a view to open. So let's go in our HMI folder where we've got all our small views, and let's create a new view called pop-up document. We will create a view of, for instance, 900 pixel by 500 pixel. In this view, we'll create a control of an internet browser type. This will be displayed, and we'll make it full screen in the view. So, top corner, 900, 500. This, this internet browser will have a property called URL, which we'll just have to set to tell to the browser what to display. The last thing we want to do is associate to this pop-up document view a window style, which will make it behave as a pop-up view. So we select the window style property, we open the browser and select pop-up. And we can also here put a title like alarm document. Okay, so we have the view. Now we have the commands to open the view. We just need the script to link the two together. So let's create a new script. Respect our naming convention, alarm window menu document. First thing, we need to trigger the script. The command has this selected property go to true when it's selected by the user. So it's very simple. Just link this menu command selected property to the active property of the script, and that will run the script. Now we need to write our script. Let's take a smaller screen. Okay, so the first thing we want to do is find the document name or path that we need to open. So let's declare a variable doc. To retrieve this information, it's the document associated to the alarm, to the selected alarm. So we just have to ask to the alarm list, what is the document associated to the current selected alarm? So doc equal, types the alarm window name, or get it completed automatically from the list. And we have a method called getAlarmInfo, and the information we want is the media file.
It's a property of the alarm.
That's right. Okay, so I now have this document. I just have now to open the view where I want to display it. So the command is pnopenView, and I can use the browser to select the view I want to open. I've created in HMI. I called it pop-up document. And let's say I want to open it to 100 in X and Y. And the last thing I have to do is point to my document, to point the browser to my document. So I will write the property I've showed to you earlier in this open view. So the internet browser dot URL property, and I just have to write my doc variable because it's the full absolute path of the document on the machine, and my script is completed. So let's try it. Okay, so let's go back to our advanced alarm list, and we can right-click on this alarm. Oh, I forgot to set the command name, sorry. This is real-time demo, you see. So let's put document. Okay, advanced alarm list. I right-click on my alarm, select document, and it opens my newly created view with the title I've set, and it's displaying the image associated to this alarm. And if I select now this tank level alarm, it has Panorama E².pdf. I can test it, and my browser will open a PDF, and so on. Okay, so this is an example of how to customize the alarm menu. We can have a quick look in the last view of this application. It is showing an history alarm list this time, and it shows that this menu customization can even go further. If we take an alarm on the tank, we can see that we have a trend command, and if we select a valve alarm, we have no right-click menu at all. And this is because our custom menu can allow you to configure the menu contents according to which alarm was selected. In this example, when we select trend, it opens a different trend as before. This trend is a historical trend, and it is centered on the alarm time. As you can see, well, I've selected cleared alarm. If I select a present alarm, the alarm, when it passed the threshold, it's the right time. If we compare to the time, we actually centered the trend on the right time. Okay, so you can easily build like this links for your operator between alarm lists and trends so that you can understand exactly what happens on the process. This screen also shows some of the possibilities of filters on the alarm, so we can easily filter on valves, or we can show only events, because events here are mixed with the alarms so that the operator can relate normal event on the system and the alarms so that you can better understand what happened on the system. You can activate time filters. So if I go back only 1 minute ago, in the last minute I had 6 alarms clearly or appearing and 3 appearing, and so on. Okay, so I think we've reached the end of our presentation today, and I'm going to hand over the mouse to Julien for the conclusion.
So what we done, we just had a custom menu on this alarm window. So doing this, we need to add a new mimic. We add the entry in the contextual menu, and we add the path to the file, to the document, as a parameter. So as conclusion, we just presented you some capabilities of our Panorama E² software. Here are the summary and the best practice we show you. We just introduced some object-oriented principles used in Panorama softwares. So object-oriented programmation facilitates the development of components, application, and of course their maintenance. So this object-oriented method was illustrating through our alarms and alarm windows management. So we also present you some best practice about building behaviors inside your applications. We will provide you this application on our website. So you will be able to build easily a self-zoomable view. We show you a massive use of several controls to adapt filtering options of your windows. Usually when you build components, you use the filling rules everywhere in your applications. And we show you how to build categorized fields for using it to display in the alarm windows. We present you the summary object, which is very easy to use in your application. And note that the Internet Explorer control is a useful tool for embedding any type of document which is compatible with Internet Explorer, or you have already installed an add-on or a plugin for doing this. So otherwise, best practice we show you. You first have to build your components, and you have to expose the main parameters of the components to configure everything in your component. You can use property optimization. It's like using concatenation in your categories field. And of course, we show you a way to build a rule. So we have ours. You can build your own rules, but respect your rules on object naming and object management. So it can be useful as an operator to mix alarm and event history for a better player understanding. So finally, we open the topic about alarm with the importance of a good setup of your CAD application, because it defines everything in your application. You can customize window according to rules. I think about abnormal situation management. For this topic, it's a guideline about alarm definition and information display and layout. So I recommend you to read this kind of books. You can use Panorama to define these basics information and to report them in a reporting tool for offline analysis or a long-term management system for history archiving. So we show you how it's easy to build application and custom things using Panorama E². It's also to fit and adapt Panorama E² to specific installation needs. So I hope this presentation was clear. If not, please ask, because it's time for your question and we try to give you answers. So the first presentation is about Panorama Suite. Yes, we present the last version of E², but what is Panorama Suite?
Okay, so Panorama Suite 2016 is a software suite that includes 3 parts. It includes E² that you know about. It also includes Historian, Panorama Historian, and Panorama Com. These three products can be used by their own, on standalone, or they can be combined. E² is, of course, the main SCADA solution with data acquisition and processing, HMI, trending, alarm and event management, scheduler, on-call functions, etc. Historian is a data acquisition and processing and data archiving and reporting solution. And Panorama is a standalone front-end communication solution, which means it includes data acquisition from both real-time and telemetry systems, data processing, and alarm management for all on-call systems. And it can then publish the information is acquired by OPC, OPC UA, and SNMP. So now we have more questions on the presentation itself.
So how did you choose where to create pop-up view between a component and view in the application?
Okay, so yes, in the presentation we have created together a pop-up view to display a document, and that pop-up view was created in the unit of the application. The reason is we did not need this view to be customized according to the alarm, so we've decided to make an application view usable for any alarms. We also showed the small trend level showing the level of the tank, and this one was only to be used for the tank component, and it was dedicated to showing the tank level. So we've chosen to put this small pop-up into the tank component for this reason.
We have a few minutes to answer some of the questions, because there is one which is we will take time to answer. So can you show how to level trend centered on alarm time is built?
Okay, so yes, the last pop-up we've seen. So let's go back quickly to the application. It is, I believe, this view which is on which the question is asked. So how is this designed? It is in the alarm analysis. Again, it's a custom menu. Simple until here. We first have a menu which is configured by a script. We have designated the configuration script here, and what the script will do, it will check that the alarm deals with tank or valve. If it's dealing with tank, it makes the command visible. If it's not dealing with tank, it hides the command. That's very simple. Now, how do we open that trend view? With this menu trend, which is executed when the command is selected. We retrieve the alarm name, which is currently selected, which is the alarm that you've selected in your alarm list. And we only add the word trend to the alarm name. So this is working because we are lazy guys, and when we did that application, we knew we wanted to achieve a function like this. So we've chosen to call the alarm level, and the view to open is called level trend. So by just adding the trend word to the alarm path, we reach the view path. So this is our view. What we then do is read in the alarm message the different fields. The alarm message starts by date and time. So no, sorry, it doesn't exactly start. If we look at the screen, it's on the second line. So it's field number 1, 2, 3, 4 for the date and 5 for the time. Because it's numbered starting with 0, what we do is we split the full message using the separator, which is the tabulation character, and we take field 3 and 4, which are date and time, recombine them as a date and time. So that's the alarm timestamp, now retrieved from the alarm message. We open our view, the trend view, and once the view is open, we write on the script trigger the timestamp we've just calculated. And that view here is only driving the trend view to center on this time. So it's just retrieve the date, it adds 2 minutes to the date to get the end date, and then it centered the archives period on this time. And then it adds to the trend a cursor centered on the alarm time, so that it displays the red line, the vertical red line centered on the alarm time. Okay, so you've seen this function. It looks quite advanced, but in fact, once you know how to create a custom menu entry and understand a little bit about trending, it's quite easy to achieve this function. I think we have a last question.
Is the presentation you wrote that is easy to handle several thresholds for an alarm? How can this be done?
Okay, so how could we manage several thresholds on a single alarm? Well, we can do that several ways. I'll describe two ways, for instance. First, you could think of creating several alarms having different severity levels, several severity priority values. Or you can also have a script changing dynamically the severity value or and the alarm configuration. You can also use a formula that will provide the threshold value. For instance, if you want your different thresholds to correspond to the hysteresis function, like a threshold causes the alarm to appear, and then you modify the threshold so that it only disappears with a low value, so that it avoids alarm always appearing and clearing. A formula can be used easily for that. It would use a test like if alarm present, then use 90 as threshold, otherwise use 100.
Another question, so do we have to get Panorama Suite for this alarm configuration you demonstrated in your presentation, or we can use E² only?
Of course, yes, you can use E² only. In fact, when you install Panorama Suite, the installation will ask you if you want to install E² or Historian or COM or a mix of the product. So it's really just a packaging difference. You can install E² alone when you get the Panorama Suite.
I just want to give a precision about features. You can use this application with a previous version of Panorama E². The only thing which is not available is this operation function using adding like this some of the advanced references rules.
Yes.
Or everything else is available in previous versions of Panorama E².
Yes, the application we've built together can be run with Panorama E² version 6, and only this calculation in reference was new to Panorama 650, which is in Panorama Suite 2016. So, but yes, the fact we've packaged it as a suite does not change anything for Panorama users. You can still use Panorama E² alone.
If you don't have an answer to your question today, we'll directly answer you using an email. So this event is now finished. We keep you in touch. Thank you for your participation. Enjoy your meal and have a good day.
Bye-bye.